Are you feeling stuck? Stuck in any part of your life right now? If you are, I'd like for you to listen to a couple ideas I want to share about scratches and being warped. Now, you're probably wondering right now, what do I mean by that? So I'm going to think about this and give you an example. This is a CD. Have you ever played a CD that was scratched? Have you ever had, I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but have you ever had an album, a record album, and maybe you left it in the back of your car in the sun? I remember this used to happen. My mom sold radio advertising many years ago, and I remember we'd get albums and she'd bring them home and we'd listen to them, but once in a while what would happen is they may stay in the sun too long, and then you look at it and it looks like it's kind of wavy, so that means it's not going to play very well. But think about this for a minute. How often do we have thoughts, habits, behaviors that might be scratched or warped, and what is the outcome that we are facing? I want to talk to you about 3 ideas that you can use right now to overcome those scratches and warped thoughts you're having. So if you look at this, like, let's pretend this is where I am right now and this is where I want to be. The easy side is that I can easily see where I want to go. So I'll just share an example. I remember when I first got into sales many years ago, I wanted to be a top sales performer, but I remember feeling really stressed out. I remember my first job was cold calling, 100% cold calling, knocking on doors, picking up the phone, trying to get anybody to talk to me about their payroll service. That was my first outside sales job. And I remember my thoughts were, I can't do this, I'm stressed out, I'm never gonna succeed, and I was stuck and I couldn't get over to this other side. But what I realized is that my thought habits and the thinking I was processing at that time were warped. They were not supporting me getting over to this other side. So what did I do? I had to interrupt the pattern. And how did I do that? I'm going to give you a couple ideas of how you can interrupt your pattern right now. So I remember what I did is the first thing I remember thinking to myself is I became aware of it. I became aware of it in the sense that this way I'm thinking, and this fear and this, oh my gosh, what if I don't make it feeling, that first 6 months of being in sales, which finally later resulted in a 23-year career in sales. But I remember being right there and wanting to quit and give up. But what I did is, number one, I became aware of it. I remember thinking to myself that this can't be right. My mom was successful in sales. My dad started an early career in sales. I know if they can sell, it's in my DNA, it's in my genes, I know I can do it. So that thinking, I was starting to reflect that this way I'm thinking about this does not align with what I know I'm really capable of. So it was almost like I hit this emotional rock bottom because it was not fun. I was stressed out. I was gaining weight. My face broke out. I remember it was a really tough time. But then the next thing that happened is I interrupted my pattern. I decided, you know what? I am going to do my best. I'm going to learn how to sell, and then I'm going to get the skills so that I can go out and sell a product I'm more interested in, which actually ended up being medical sales, which I'm interested in health, wellness, helping other people. So medical sales aligned a little more to that than payroll did. Number 1 rule in selling, sell something you're interested in. So I chose to interrupt my pattern. The next thing I had to do is I had to replace this scratched pattern, this warped pattern, with a new pattern. And this new pattern was like, let's just say it looks like that. That new pattern to me was, I need to find some new ways to get over to this side. So the new ways to me were, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to set goals. I'm going to listen to what the leadership team is telling me to do. I'm going to make the calls. I'm going to follow up. I'm going to fail forward. I'm going to just stick with it, and I'm not going to quit. So that new pattern of thinking finally got me over to the other side. So the first thing again is awareness, interrupt the pattern, and then replace with a new pattern. Now, long story short, I ended up succeeding. I ended up later going into medical sales, but most importantly, I saw the vision to be a sales trainer many years later. So if I had given into this first pattern, I would not be where I am today. That's the lesson, is it's about interrupting our pattern. Always here to serve you, and I hope this was inspiring.